Hi, and welcome to this demonstration of the Antikythera mechanism. Now, the original mechanism was built somewhere in ancient Greece over 2,000 years ago, but research has shown over the last 50 years that the mechanism was much more sophisticated than we would ever have expected for that era. Indeed, it was so far ahead of its time that some people think it must be a forgery, but it's not. So to help everyone understand just how advanced it was, we've created this model of the mechanism which you can build and use today. And in this video I'm going to take you through the main functions and look at why it might have been made and how it might have been used. Our model is the same size as the original with the same functions and displays. On the front we have a miniature working model of the solar system. At the centre is the Earth. It's a geocentric model, so the mechanism displays exactly what we see from Earth. The longest hand here is the date pointer, and that extends to the outer calendar scale. The calendar scale in the original was the ancient Egyptian calendar of 365 days. But so that you can use it more easily today, we've replaced that with our Gregorian calendar. All the other hands point to the inner zodiac scale, where we've used a modern astrological zodiac. On top we have a pointer for the moon. Then close to the date pointer we have a pointer showing the true position of the sun in the zodiac. Moving out from the sun, we have pointers for the inner planets. Here's Mercury and Venus. And then after the date pointer, we have pointers indicating the position of the outer planets. So that's Mars here, then Jupiter, then Saturn. So the instrument seems to be showing the positions of all the planets in the zodiac, at least those known in antiquity, at any date in the past, present or future. To illustrate just how difficult that is, let's take a look at how the planets actually move around the Sun. Now, the Sun and the planets are not to scale in this model, but you can see that all the planets are moving in independent elliptical orbits. And not all the orbits are in one plane. For example, you can see that the orbit of Mercury here is tilted. So the Antikythera mechanism sets out to address a really difficult computational problem, one that has baffled mankind for thousands of years. And to solve it, you really need a computer that can automatically recalculate all of these positions in real time as you move the date forward or back. And believe it or not, that's exactly what the mechanism does. To set the date, you use a combination of the 19-year lunar calendar on the back dial and the Gregorian calendar on the front. The calendar on the back dial is similar to the Hebrew, Hindu and Chinese calendars which are still used today. As I turn the key, you can see that the date on the two calendars changes in sync. The Greek astronomers also monitored the sun and the moon very closely. They understood how and why eclipses occurred. So the mechanism incorporates a dial here which shows when a lunar or solar eclipse is going to happen, what sort of eclipse it would be, and when you should expect to see it during the day. Here, for example, it is calculated that there will be a total lunar eclipse on the 14th day of the lunar month, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. On the Gregorian calendar, the date is the 21st of January 2000. The mechanism is saying we have the right conditions for an eclipse. The light falling on the moon from the sun is obscured by the Earth at the centre. The moon is full, and the sun, earth and moon are in line. And in fact that eclipse was pretty spectacular. When I wind the date forwards, we see the moon, the planets and the sun moving around the zodiac. We see Mercury go into retrograde motion and then back. We can see that everything on the back face is denominated in lunar months and lunar years. Everything on the front face is denominated in solar months and days or in degrees. We're looking at a highly developed design. For example, this is the planetarium gearbox which drives the planet pointers. None of this happened by accident. This machine has been designed very carefully, and it clearly isn't the first one that they built. Now, historians think the mechanism could have been used either as a teaching aid in an astronomy school or by astrologers, because in antiquity your horoscope was determined by the alignment of the planets on the day you were born. And as I turn the key, you could see that the mechanism is very good at identifying oppositions and conjunctions of the planets, both relative to each other and to the Earth. Of course, Greek mythology is full of stories about the gods, the alliances and battles between them. And it's clear that the Greeks firmly believed that the planets were the gods. They watched what was happening in the heavens very closely. So quite what they would have made of this event, when Mercury, Venus and Mars came together into an almost perfect alignment with the Sun and the Moon in a very rare five-way conjunction, we'll never know. But perhaps the real value of this machine to the ancient Greeks was in its ability to show how the gods interacted, when they were together, when they were apart. Maybe they felt that with it they could predict the future and make sense of the past. It's an amazing machine, isn't it? We're incredibly lucky to have found it. Who knows, maybe the gods had a hand in that too.